Hello and welcome to my very first narrated video. Today we're going to visit Herstmonceaux Castle. Built in the middle of the 15th century, out of red brick instead of stone, this place was never intended to be a defensive fortress. It's actually a gigantic, elegant show home, intended to wow and amaze other noble families. It's said to be haunted by several ghosts, but we're going to concentrate on just one: the Phantom Drummer. Now, Herstmonceaux is not the only castle or stately home in Britain that has a ghostly drummer. It's not even the only place with a headless drummer, as the drummer here is sometimes said to be. But it is a very rare and ironic instance of somebody imitating a ghost and becoming a ghost in the afterlife. The castle is in East Sussex in southeast England, a place rich with legends and history. In 1541, Lord Dacre, head of the Fiennes family, owner of Herstmonceaux Castle, was falsely convicted of murder by a court that was manipulated by King Henry VIIIth. The king refused him clemency, and he was hanged like a common criminal at Tyburn. And then the king seized all the family's lands and possessions, which was probably the point of the trial in the first place. Later, during the reign of his daughter, Elizabeth I, the Fiennes family were restored to these holdings. However, as centuries and generations passed, the castle's fortunes declined. By 1777, the castle had been stripped of its furniture, wooden panelling, staircases, doors, even its interior walls, and it was left to become a picturesque ruin. In the 20th century, the castle was painstakingly restored by later owners, but everything inside it has been salvaged from other, now defunct stately homes. In the last quarter of the 18th century, it is said that smugglers began to use the remaining ruins of Herstmonceaux Castle as a base of operations and storage facilities for their illicit goods. Not content with driving away local busybodies with threats and actual acts of violence, they resorted to playing ghost. At some stage, they apparently had a very tall man, said to be 9 feet tall, though that's probably an exaggeration, dressed as a drummer and beating his drum on the remaining castle walls. At some stage, the drummer was played by a boy. And legend has it that in order to make him appear more like an apparition, he was coated with luminous chemicals. And sadly, the toxic effect of those chemicals eventually killed him, thus creating the ghost of the Phantom Drummer, who actually haunts the castle to this day. From the Victorian era to the 1920s, the ruined castle became a popular destination for day trippers, hikers, cyclists, artists and photographers. And during that period, as people enjoyed the atmosphere, the beauty of the countryside, the stories of all the ghosts, including the phantom drummer, coalesced, evolved, changed, and became dramatized. I believe that the phantom drummer began as a haunting with its origins in warfare. It is said that the drummer was a soldier who fell at the Battle of Agincourt fighting for his lord, and though his body was buried in France, his spirit returned to his home in England, where he beat his drum and was seen by many who recognized him. Thus, when centuries passed, and the smugglers wished to deter people from paying attention to their business, they latched on to this story. They created their own phantom drummer, and having inadvertently poisoned the child, they created yet another ghost who remains at Herstmonceaux Castle.